Heavy dealers and home bank. Good for business, good for life. It's time to talk LSU football on the flagship home of the Tigers. Call 225-499-9898. It's Eagle 98.1 Game Day. Now, live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios, here's Charles Hanagriff and Jeremy Hill.
A legendary call and a monumental win for the LSU Tigers as they beat Alabama 32-31 in overtime in Tiger Stadium. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Eagle 98.1 Game Day. I'm Charles Hanagriff along with former Tiger Jeremy Hill. What for 3 quarters was a defensive struggle turned into a wild array of offensive explosion in the fourth quarter and in the overtime as LSU found themselves coming from behind on multiple occasions to win this football game. No need to bury the lead here. When it came time to make the decision to go for 2, Brian Kelly did not hesitate. Instead, it was the other sideline that looked a little bit unprepared as players were shuffling on and off of the field. LSU confident in their quarterback to make the throw and going to a freshman tight end who had somewhat of a breakout game tonight, and the Tigers pull off the 2-point conversion to give them the win. It was a game that would have frayed your nerves. Jeremy, you were down on the field for that final play of the game. You got a great video of it, actually. You should probably post that on Twitter. The decision to go for 2, the call and the execution, as you saw it from right there, you were just feet away from where Taylor ended up falling into the end zone.
That was, excuse me, guys, a lot of emotions tonight. But that was absolutely pandemonium in Death Valley tonight. And I was talking to a lot of people. Sorry, I lost my voice. A lot of yelling going on tonight. But that play, you know, they called the timeout right before, and everyone's on the side like, are they going to kick it now? Like, are we going to go for it? Like, what's going to happen? Like, is this the right call? Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? And I was in the camp like, man, like, they're not stopping our offense. Do we lose the game here? Like, is it worth it? And it was, because it was a perfectly dialed up play. You saw Mason Taylor going in motion all game long. You see him coming in motion, short motion, short motion. And this one, he got a full speed run and start, and he got the leverage needed, and JD5 threw a strike. And obviously it was crazy to me because I'm on the field, and then I turn around, and then there's thousands of people surrounding me. I'm like, how the heck did they get on the field so fast? But incredible night for the Tigers, and what a call by Coach Kelly to draw it up like that and win a big-time game.
The decision to go for 2 may stem a little bit from the fact of the new overtime rules, which force you to go for 2 in the second overtime period and in the third overtime period, and from there on out, it's nothing but 2-point plays. For Kelly to have a 2-point play that he felt confident in, he was going to get to run his best 2-point play before Alabama ever got a chance to run theirs. Was it risky? Yes, of course it was. A gutsy decision to push all your chips in the middle on one play. But, again, there was a pretty good chance, had this gone to a second overtime and LSU kicked the extra point, that it was going to come down to a 2-point conversion either in that overtime, and if it gets to the third overtime, it's definitely going to come down to a 2-point conversion. This was Brian Kelly talking about the decision to go for 2 at the end of the game.
Microphone. Coach, the thinking on the 2-point conversion, when you got the ball, were you saying we're going to take it, and if we score, we're going to go for it, or was it a decision at that moment?
It was a decision at that moment. I just felt, as I thought about it, if we could boil this game down to one play and win this game before the game started, if you asked me, hey, I'm going to give you one play, and if you're successful on that one play, you beat Alabama, I would have taken that 100 times out of 100. And so at that moment, it kind of hit me that way. And I knew we had a really good play that we hadn't used and they hadn't seen. And when you get 5 out on the perimeter, you truly have a threat. And so I felt really good about the play, and it was well executed, and that was the thought behind it.
Jayden Daniels was outstanding on this night. He threw 2 touchdown passes and ran for another one. For the good part of the first half, Alabama was able to keep him bottled up as far as the rushing attack, Jeremy. But in that second half, Daniels really opened some things up, made a few key runs, and, of course, the one in the overtime. give credit to both of LSU's receivers on that near side that held their blocks, and Josh Williams, who doubled back from the middle of the field to catch another block that allowed Daniels. He may have scored anyway, but it certainly made it a lot easier on him to get into the end zone. Jayden Daniels was phenomenal tonight and made plays. Every time LSU really, really needed one, Daniels stepped up, made a throw, or made a run.
He definitely did. And I actually ran into, I think it was his cousin on the field. He's like, man, you've been so hard on JD5, but I appreciate it. I've been telling him some of the same stuff. And, like, man, I'm always a guy, I'm going to give credit where credit's due. And this team would be nowhere near where they are right now without the player JD5. He's just been playing absolutely sensational. And I think, obviously, doing what he did with his legs when you're down the way he did, moving and shifting the field, getting you back into that game when you had to score a touchdown. And, obviously, the big-time touchdown run in overtime. He's special, and you saw him use his legs at a high rate, and he made some big-time throws when he had to make some big-time throws in this game. And so his performance, I thought, really led this football team. And, you really never felt like you're out of it. There's so many times when you play Alabama, it's like, okay, here we go. Here's Bryce Young scrambling around, throws a touchdown. We're going to lose. But no one in that stadium felt that. No one on that sideline felt that. Everybody kind of knew, we got this guy back here. He's going to make plays, and you saw him come in full effect and do that when he absolutely needed to.
The LSU defensive plan for the night to keep Bryce Young in check was outstanding. LSU showed him multiple looks. Many times, Harold Perkins was enacted as a spy, and what a spy he was tonight. Other times, they dropped him into coverage. Mostly, they were able to keep Perkins and B.J. Ojulari on the field at the same time. Did that pay dividends? They combined for 19 tackles tonight, 2 sacks, 2.5 other tackles for losses, and 5 quarterback hurries. They put pressure on Bryce Young from a number of different angles, and there were times when the Heisman Trophy winner looked like he was having difficulty just delivering the football. Much like Jackson Dart 2 weeks ago, the hits began to take a toll on him as the game went on. Bryce Young threw the ball 51 times tonight, which was a little bit of a surprise to me. That Jamar Gibbs only had 15 carries. Gibbs is an outstanding back, Jeremy, and I was a little bit surprised that they did not give him the ball more and try to take some of the pressure off their quarterback.
Yeah, that was a huge sigh of relief for me watching him. Every time he touched it, it seemed like he was ripping a play, and it was a tackle away from scoring a touchdown. And he got 23 touches in the game, but to me, you got to give that guy 30-plus touches. I think anytime, you look at that box score, you look at the stats for the season, you see a running back leading Alabama in receiving yards. It's probably, a great sign that kid is extremely talented when you just look at, what they recruit year in and year out. And, I think, the offensive coordinator, O'Brien, he let us off the hook with that. I thought he should have got a lot more carries, getting the ball off the edge, because he's really carving you up. And obviously, we kind of saw what he was doing in the passing game as well. And so I thought with Bryce kind of, trying to attempt to throw it to the receivers, not much separation, a lot of, missed time throws. I thought just kind of giving him the ball more and probably giving him, more catches out the backfield would have definitely kind of carved this defense up a little more. But huge sigh of relief he didn't get more touches.
Wouldn't be an LSU-Alabama game if there wasn't at least some controversy, and the controversy came on primarily 2 plays. One near the end of the first half, when a fumble that LSU had seemingly recovered was overturned and handed to Alabama. That turned out to cost LSU 3 points, as Alabama was able to kick a field goal there for a 7-6 halftime lead that, had LSU got the ball there, would have been no worse than 7-3, and possibly, and LSU had some time left on the clock, may have even gone down. The other one, a pass interference penalty on Sage Ryan in the end zone that would have been negated had the ball ruled that it was touched at the line of scrimmage. Looking back at the replay, the official in the booth that was on the ESPN broadcast said, yes, this is coming back. This ball is tipped. They froze it, and even though the ball's trajectory, the spiral of the ball was not really affected, it was pretty clear that there was a finger on it. Again, this was a huge call because this was 3rd down, and it would have forced Alabama to try a field goal there rather than give them a 1st and goal at the 2. So You were down there on the field. Give me your bird's eye view of what you saw on those two calls.
I think everyone, Coach Kelly saw it, like you were right there, so you kind of see it. And when you saw us get his hands up and the ball kind of land where it did, I don't know. Bryce was a little off tonight. Normally he's a little more accurate than what I saw tonight, but it looked just clearly like a tip pass, and you could just kind of see everyone on that defensive line saying he tipped the pass, everyone in the secondary saying he tipped the pass. It just looked like a tip. They slow-moed it in the stadium. The whole stadium thought it was a tip pass, and when you got the call, it was just a very surprising call because I think everyone that kind of watched that figured, he at least got a fingertip on that pass. And, I was thinking on the field because you can't hear anything in the stadium. I'm thinking, okay, maybe he wrapped him, 2 steps way before that and the tip didn't matter. I thought that's what it was. I didn't think they didn't say he didn't tip the ball, but I didn't watch it on TV, so I don't know what they were saying or what the referee said. It was way too loud in there, but to say that you didn't get that call, that was just a little, Bama favoritism right there, Jason.
I don't even know if it was Bama favoritism other than they just missed it. They called 92 yards worth of penalties on Alabama. Alabama came in, the scouting report on them was right down the middle. They were the most penalized team in the Southeastern Conference coming in, and they gave away 92 yards in penalties in this game tonight. If every 100 yards is worth a touchdown, then Alabama can say, hey, listen, the penalties tonight were what did us in. They could make a similar claim after the Tennessee game. Thing is, most of the penalties that I saw that were called were good calls. They were not manufactured. I thought they missed the call on the tip, but you're going to miss some calls. The call at the end of the first half on the fumble, by the letter of the law, by the rule, was applied correctly. It is a terrible rule because it benefits the team that is basically, I don't want to say committing an infraction, but it rewards the team that has screwed up. And why that rule is in place, I remember there was a game with Ohio State and Wisconsin about 5 or 6 years ago where the exact same thing happened, and Ohio State ended up losing a possession out of it. So I don't like the rule, but that's just the that's just the way that that rule is applied, and it's unfortunate. I'd like to see them change that rule because I don't think you should give the benefit to the offending team. But que sera. Big night for a lot of Tigers. I thought Josh Williams just ran the ball so incredibly hard. The 3rd down and 7 late in the game where, look, that's a call that we're talking about. If they don't make it there and they lose this game, we're talking about LSU being conservative on 3rd down and 7 there, and Williams is hit at the line of scrimmage, and he powers his way inside the 10-yard line for a 1st down and goal. I thought he was tremendous tonight. I thought Joe Fouché had a lot of really good plays. They started Major Burns in the game. He struggled a little bit in the first half. Fouché got in, and this is besides the obvious, which is Perkins and Ojulari. I thought Fouché was very good in this game. I thought Jarek Bernard-Converse had a really nice night. And that opening interception, Jeremy, in the end zone where I call this a team interception. They pressure Bryce Young where he's trying to step up. He not only is he under pressure, he doesn't have the opportunity to run into the end zone. The spy is there. So he's got to throw. His vision is shielded. He tries to he changes his arm angle, and Converse comes up with the interception in the end zone. Alabama doesn't score a touchdown until there's 12 minutes to go in regulation. So imagine how much differently this might have played out had Alabama scored on the first drive, and LSU would have found themselves in a familiar position, which is behind. But Converse didn't let that happen. He made a play.
Yeah, that was a huge play, and I thought, I saw it, all week, all season long when you kind of watch this Alabama team. They give up pressure. There were some times where he had a lot of time to throw the ball, but I thought they did a great job dialing up blitz. Matt House got real exotic in some situations, and that was another situation where, you got pressure on him. And a quarterback that's not 6'4", 6'5", you get pressure on him, you get your hands up, you're going to bat down balls, you're going to, stop their vision from really having clean throwing lanes, and that was a big-time play by Converse. And really, to me, I thought the turning point in this game was, Bama was moving the ball. They were getting into the red zone, but they couldn't finish those drives and touchdowns. I thought, making them kick those field goals and not allowing them to get those touchdowns, it really created a world where you weren't ever really out of the game. And if they kind of score those touchdowns, you're kind of fighting, behind the 8 ball that whole game. But I thought it was a close game all the way through there, and it allowed you kind of to be in it in the end to really, give your chance to, a chance to win that game. And obviously, they kicked that field goal at the end, which I don't know how it went in. I had a great angle on it. I just thought it was a dart, and he was just going to, fall short. But they found a way to kick that field goal. But I thought that play from Converse really kind of, gave the defense that momentum and that confidence they needed, forced them to kick some field goals early and then kind of get a little tired late. But those stops early was huge in the end of that game.
Gordy Rush was down on the field, and I think he has survived and made it out. Gordy, give me a sense of what it was like down there on the field before we talk about the 2 calls that we were discussing here just a moment ago.
Well, Charlie put up there with LSU, Florida, an incredible environment, and I go back to the play. Jayden scores, and I'm watching the sideline, and I think I've been around Brian. Coach Kelly enough, and I look over and Brian Polian's just holding everybody back. His guys, the PAT team, and I told Chris he's going for 2. He's going for 2, and he runs them out there, and they call timeout, and I'm like, man, if is he gonna at that point, or maybe he kicks it here, and he didn't flinch, and it just I thought it was amazing in the locker room. In the locker room, he told the team, he said there was no way anybody else was going to determine the outcome. I was going to let any other circumstances affect the outcome of this game. If it was up to us, we were going to make that call, and I'm going for it. And I sent you the tape of the interview that he did on the network before, and that's what I like about the way his management style. Look, he's 100% about winning, and 100% about stuff that doesn't waste time. And if we got the chance, like you said in the press conference, 100 times out of 100, you told me I had 1 play to beat Alabama, I'm taking it. That's the way that he thinks. That's the way he operates.
He had his best 2-point play there. This is the first one he runs. If they go to a second overtime, they have to run a 2-point play if they score. And then if it goes past that, he's got to run multiple other 2-point plays. Take your best. We saw this in the Utah-USC game a couple of weeks ago, and Kyle Whittingham made the same call. He said, we got 1 2-point conversion play that we really liked. They ran it. They made it. And, Brian Kelly did the same thing tonight. But it takes a lot. You can say it's a percentage. It takes a lot of cojones to be done. This is Alabama, okay? I mean, this is the SEC West is on the line. The stadium is packed. You've been playing a knockdown, drag-out war for 4 hours, and now you got to put it all on 1 play. So I don't want to in any way downplay the significance of this call because it took an awful lot of courage to do that. But they had a real good play called. Gordy, let's go back to the play at the end of the first half and your vantage point where you were, and the rule is applied correctly here. It's a lousy rule, but it's applied correctly. So walk us through what you saw and how this was ruled.
So the strip was clean. And they kept watching the review of they kept playing the review of the recovery, and I'm like, what on earth are they looking at? Because it was clean that Brooks had recovered the fumble.
Yes.
And until he explained it, which it kind of faded out because the mic, the official's mic was bad, that I looked at Ian Fitzsimmons on ESPN radio, and so the way it's explained that the rule is if there's a fumble and the ball carrier his foot is out of bounds and he touches the ball while a foot is out of bounds, it is right there. It's dead. It's out, which, I mean, I need to go do some looking up. I had never really heard of that before. And the other problem I have is that he didn't touch it before Brooks had both hands on the football. And so, I mean, the rule's a lousy rule. The interpretation in this case, I think, is lousy. And I don't think that Brooks, to me, he might not have had complete possession, but, so he can have two hands on it first, and then somebody, the tight end 81 just touches it, and okay, the ball's dead. So, I mean, like I said, I'm not that familiar with the rule, but that's the way that it was explained on ESPN and ESPN radio, and kind of a head shaker.
Yeah, it's a terrible rule. I remembered a play in an Ohio State game from about 5 or 6 years ago, so I had seen it called once before. It's certainly not common. And I think that Brian Kelly knew the rule, too, because he didn't go crazy. At first, I thought, wow, he's going to really lose it here. He didn't. So I'm pretty sure he knew the rule and knew that they were, they were going to be on the short end of that. Now let's talk about the pass interference call that might have come back had the ball rule to be tipped. Gordy, we got a great replay on it, and I understand they were doing it in the stadium as well.
Yep.
Where there's a finger on this ball. Now it doesn't change the trajectory of the spiral, but it's a finger on the ball. And this one, even the rules official on the broadcast said this is coming back. They're going to pick this flag up. They didn't. Give me your thoughts on that.
Well, I'm same with you, and so look, I'll tell you, before COVID, every year they bring the radio crew up to Birmingham, and we would sit in those chairs, right? And there are 3 chairs. I want you to think of like Star Trek, yay?
Yeah.
Before your time, Jeremy, work with me. So 3 chairs, and each game has a monitor. So call it, LSU, Alabama. Who else was playing tonight? Auburn was
Auburn
State.
Yeah.
And so one guy's assigned to a game, and then they have a master guy that's up there like Captain Kirk that gets to overrule all of it. And I'm just thinking to myself, how on earth did somebody with better clarity that are sitting in front of the monitors with the joystick that's clearly told them to stop the video, well, you need to look at this, and for us to see that in slow motion on Tiger Stadium's Jumbotron, for you to see it, and they stopped it and went frame by frame and showed where it hit his finger, and then to not overrule it, the only thing I can think is that, that it didn't change the trajectory of the ball, but I don't know that he ever watched the whole trajectory of the ball. I thought it was a poor call.
Yeah, it was. All right, last thing, and then we'll let you get moving. The whole week, really for the last 2 weeks, we talked about getting Harold Perkins and B.J. Ojulari on the field at the same time. I would say mission accomplished. Gordy, watching Harold Perkins tonight, I felt like, okay, we've been watching this for a month and a half now. The rest of the country got introduced to him tonight, almost Tyrann Mathieu-like, and I know Tyrann was at the game. You saw all of this. That guy, he played the spy tonight better,
yes.
I think, than I've ever seen it, because not only does he play the spy, and he's level. He's never taken a bad angle, and his closing speed. It's like the guy's been shot out of a cannon. He's a phenomenal football player.
Well, Jeremy's seen more football than either one of us. So I let him talk. But I mean, what kills me, is that they showed him in the spy. He after the third time where he faked the blitz and just stepped back and waited on him. They knew that what was coming anytime that he wasn't on the edge. So they played him at the nickel where Ward usually plays, opposite Ojulari. And it was brilliant. And the liability is there are a couple times he got picked on in zone coverage and where he didn't really play curl the flat and he just drifted too much of flat. And that's why they didn't play him against Tennessee. And I don't want to hear Charlie rant about that, but they'll work with him on that. But what was so impressive is that when Bryce made his first step, Perkins was gone. He played that spy, and it was boom, boom. And it's not usually like that. I mean, now that I've seen him versus Richardson, and then the quarterback from Auburn, Ashford, is a good athlete, obviously. I mean, he's as good as athlete as any of them, and it's something to watch. And he cramped up in the second half. That's why he came off the football field. And then they ran Tolwyn out there and used Baskerville a little bit as a spy. So again, House a great game plan, and they're dangerous with Ojulari and Perkins on the field because you guys can talk about it. You can only slide the protection one way.
Gordy, thanks a lot. Enjoy this one. Get some rest, and we'll talk to you on Monday.
Okay, take care, guys.
The significance of the game, as far as this season, is pretty easy to ascertain here. LSU is in control of their own destiny in the SEC West. By the time we're at this point next week, LSU could have a spot in Atlanta wrapped up. The idea, again, after the Florida State game, that was even a possibility. Jeremy, if somebody had walked in at postgame that we were doing from the Nopsey Hotel 2 months ago and said, listen, boys, 2 months from now, it's going to be fine. LSU is going to beat Alabama, and they're going to be in the driver's seat for the SEC championship game, we would have said, how many have you had? But that's exactly where they are right now. The significance to Brian Kelly was obvious listening to him, and I know you didn't get a chance to hear the broadcast, but he was choked up, visibly emotional about this win and what it means for the team and for him personally. This is, the moment where everything that you've done pays off. The historical significance for me is this. There's a few moments in the history of the program that simply from one statement. There's the Bluegrass Miracle. Whenever he said, the Halloween run, you know what they're talking about. The Bluegrass Miracle, the earthquake game. Yeah. This one, to me, this is the conversion. When you say, hey, you remember the conversion, you won't have to ask which one it is. For Brian Kelly to do that, this is a legendary call. This is one that when you're listing the significant regular season wins in the history of the program, this one's going to be there, and it's going to be one of the – we're still talking about Jones to Davis almost 50 years later, okay?
Yeah.
We'll be talking about this one for a long time, too.
Yeah, I hate to be this guy, but I have to do it. Anyone remember the Notre Dame guy, Brian Driscoll, and all the things he had to say about the great Coach Kelly, and he can't recruit, he can't sing, can't beat Alabama, he can't do this. I would love to talk to that guy next week. That'd be a great guy to talk to, because I think every negative thing you could say with this guy coming into Baton Rouge, I think he's already proved that wrong with just the job he's done with this football team. Like you said, after that Florida State game, so many holes to fix, terrible special teams, just not executing. It looks like, you're losing to a bad Florida State team, and just kind of, what you kind of see with this football team and just the way he's developed them in short order to the level that you're beating an Alabama football team in the fashion you did. And like you said, have the cojones to go for it. With that 2-point conversion, with the game on the line, with the SEC, title on the line, and, controlling your destiny on the line, and to be able to, rally the troops and put everyone in position and call your best play and execute to that level. I think you can't do anything but tip your cap. And like I said all week, as a player, as a fan, this is the reason why you support LSU. This is the reason why you go to LSU for moments like this. I think, like you said, everyone's got to remember what they were doing when that happened. Starting off your career 1-0 against Saban, we kind of know the stranglehold he's had on this program. I think you can't do nothing but give Coach Kelly his flowers.
499-9898 is the number to call. We should probably take a break at some point. We ran a little long in the first segment here. This is Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
When I was a boy, I spent my days climbing trees, catching fish. Barefoot in the river I walked, listening to crickets, counting stars. This was home. After my stroke, I wondered if I'd make it back to the people and places I love. But I got the right doctors with Blue Cross coverage. Your card matters. Your home does too.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
It's no secret, the best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you were born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
This summer, meet Acura's heroes of performance. Only available at the Acura Summer of Performance.
This summer, visit your local Acura dealer for attractive offers on Eagle 98.1.
Eagle 98.1 Game Day continues. 499-9898 is the number to call on the LaBerge hotline. Here's proof that God's a Tiger fan. This game happens daylight savings time. You get an extra hour to enjoy it. So I guess a little extension to 24-hour rule for the team. Let's go to the phone lines, and we start things off with Trace in Baton Rouge. Trace, welcome into the show.
Hey, fellas. Y'all touched on it a little bit earlier about Jeremy mentioned. I was with him. Do I go for the field goal or go for two? I wanted to go for the field goal, but I think the thing that's not talked about the most is Brian Kelly's quiet confidence throughout the season about how he feels about this team. And he's got the biggest cojones in the state of Louisiana right now, going for two to win the game against Alabama. It was amazing. It was probably the best game I've been to in my life at LSU, and it was just it was amazing.
This will be. Thank you for the call. This will be. It's one of the best games ever in that building, and I've been to plenty of them. And you've played in plenty of them. But this will go down as one of the best games that. I mean, it had everything. You had a defensive half, okay? Really almost a defensive three quarters where you had really good defense, really hard hit, and then you get this offensive explosion, okay, in the fourth quarter, and then, of course, the two great plays in the overtime. Jeremy, I was at the Earthquake game, okay? And it was an unbelievable moment. But for 58 minutes, that was the most boring football game you've ever seen in your life. I mean, it was a punt-a-thon. Yeah. This one didn't feel like that at all in the first half when they were playing good defense. You still had some big plays. And look, man, Alabama, this may not be Nick's best team, but understand that to beat Alabama takes everything you got. I mean, it really does. Tennessee's got their best team in 25 years. It was everything that they could do to beat them. LSU tonight, if they make one less play than what they did, they don't get home tonight. And it took everything. It was just fantastic. Jules is in New Mexico. Jewel, welcome into the show.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Good, Jewel.
Look, just a question for you. From the first game against Florida State, Daniels is just a whole different level now. And obviously I know that he's making the plays and he's doing everything he needs to do, but who do you attribute his turnaround from Florida State to now? Let's go, Brandon.
I would use the word trust. Mm-hmm. He's got trust in his receivers. They've got trust in him. You got a lot more reps now. Jeremy, in the first game, and really all the way through the month of September, one of the things that Brian Kelly kept saying was, they're not going to always be wide open. You're going to have to throw the ball into some tight windows. You're going to have to throw the ball before receivers are out of their breaks. And they had beat into the game plan so much, don't turn the ball over, that Daniels just was not going to – he wasn't going to take very many chances. They wanted him to play more aggressively. Now he has the trust in those receivers. They have the trust in him. The play callers got trust in him. And so I would use the word trust in the fact that obviously they've got a lot more reps together. It's not like Daniels has been here for 4 years. He got here in the spring. So that's my thought.
Yeah, I think it's been a culmination of a bunch of things. And I think you got to give credit to the run game. They've been able to run the ball a lot better than they were early on in the season. And I think this offensive line, the way they're playing now and putting Emery at right tackle and obviously getting Turner at center and doing some of the things they've been doing, and that's kind of one of the biggest things that people talked about. This offensive line's going to stink. They're not going to be good. That was two NFL defensive ends that they played against today, and I thought they did a phenomenal job, especially in that second half when they kind of got worn those guys down a bit. JD had time to do the things he had to do as a quarterback. That big-time conversion on third down to Kayshawn was huge. He had so much time in there to extend that play in the pocket, and I think rhythm is another thing too. It just seems like a lot of times early on in the season, they weren't executing at a high level, and they seemed out of rhythm, which is what you could say about this Alabama offense. That just looked like a Bryce Young totally out of rhythm in this game, not pitch and catch, inaccurate passes, and you kind of saw a lot of that with LSU this season. But I think the way they're playing now, everyone in that building has confidence in the quarterback. The offensive line's playing better. You got backs rushing the ball, at a way higher average per carry, and you got receivers who are not dropping those passes. That was kind of a thing L and this team as well, were dropping easy passes early on. It seems like they kind of got rid of all those things, and this offense is just flying at a way higher cylinder than it was early on.
And this little package that they put in for this game, where they're putting most of the time it's a tight end in the flat, and the quarterback is rolling in that direction, and Daniels has the option to run it or throw it. Now, I say he's got the option. They got to call it, okay, because they can't have linemen downfield if he does decide to throw the ball past the line of scrimmage. But it's a hell of a thing for a defense to have to defend, because he can stick his foot in the ground and cut as well as anybody, and then he's got great speed. And when he does throw the ball off of that action, it's essentially a long handoff, but it's not a hard throw to complete. It's in an open field. It gives you a chance to make a play. It is a low-risk, high-reward package if the quarterback knows what he's doing, and that quarterback knows what he's doing for sure. I like that an awful lot tonight. Kirk is in Opelousas. Kirk, welcome into the show. Kirk? All right, Kirk fell asleep.
Sounds like he's sleeping. What's going on?
Let's go to Keaton in Birmingham. Keaton, welcome into the show.
Gentlemen. I called y'all 2 weeks ago. I said I had 2 words for y'all. Jeremy repeated them. He know what I said. You know what I'm saying? It's over with. The Bama reign is over with, okay? I got a brand new Jayden Wave runner. That thing running real nice. Matt House called his best game tonight. The defense shut everything down. Bryce Young was getting Bryce Cakes was out there getting smacked. You know what I'm saying? Repeatedly. I loved it. Damn, I forgot what I was going to say. I'm too excited. Y'all know I live here in Birmingham. Yeah, I got a few dollars off tonight off these boys. It's going to be real quiet at the hospital next week, and I can't wait. These boys better hide from me. Brian Kelly kept saying in his interviews, we haven't arrived yet. No, they arrived tonight. They are arrived. They are alive and well, baby. LSU is back. Death Valley is again where dreams come to die, baby. Go Tigers.
All right, Keaton. Thanks a lot, man. You think he's gonna maybe wear a purple shirt to work on Monday?
I don't think he's got to forget what to say on Monday.
No.
I think he'll know exactly what to say next week. Yeah, that's what bragging rights is about. That's why there's so much pageantry, so much love for your programs, and that stranglehold is getting a little looser now. So yeah, that was a big time one for the Tigers.
That's fantastic. We'll take a break here. We'll take more of your phone calls when we come back. 499-9898 is the number to call. This is Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111, your law firm for a lifetime.
I'm Jayden Daniels. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jaydacody.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
Eagle 98.1.
Eagle 98.1 Game Day continues. LSU wins it 32-31 in overtime. 499-9898 is the number to call. Brad is in West Virginia. Brad, welcome to the show.
Hey, Charlie, how y'all doing, man?
You screaming a little bit, man? You losing your voice a little bit?
Hey, look, I lost my. I'm Brad from West Virginia. That's my call signal. But this is my one game I came in for this year. So
okay.
I'm with my buddy. I lost my voice. I made everybody around me scream on third downs for sure. Look, let me tell you something. I look around and look. I swear, a quarter of people are yelling. If everybody yelled in that stadium, it'd be unbelievable. I'm like yelling, I lose my voice, and I'm looking around like this dude, he ain't yelling. Man, if everybody would yell or clap, do something, make a sound. But anyway, it was awesome. The atmosphere was awesome. But look, hey, man, I've been drinking all day, and so I'm just wondering, can you explain to me? We're riding home right now. Can you explain to me, did they figure it out with Perkins and Ojulari on the field? It seemed like Perkins was there. Seemed like every time I looked up, it was Perkins. I get a beer, I come back from there, I have a beer, and I look up and there's Perkins. So did they have him on the field?
Yeah, they
figured it out.
They figured it out, and then some. Brad, we appreciate the call, Jeremy. I thought it was brilliant the way that Matt House moved him around. He was spying on Bryce Young a lot of the time, but not all of the time. There were times where he was rushing off the edge. Gordy was talking about how, there were times in zone coverage. Okay, that's not the best part of his game right now. But they never knew where 40 was going to be. And it allowed him to leave Ojulari at the jack, and they moved Perkins all over the place. And yes, they figured it out, I would say.
Yeah, I think they definitely did. And I thought that's something that you just have to do, as a defensive coordinator when you have such a talented player. I think Lane Kiffin kind of gave it away to the whole world. No, it's 40. That's the reason why they're so good. And so he's not going to catch anybody by surprise for his time now and going forward in his LSU career. But I think anytime you have a player like that and you respect the coach like Coach Saban, if you line him up at left end every single snap, then now he's going to get chipped. They're going to set him up with screenplays. They're going to do all the things you can do when you kind of know exactly where a guy is lining up. And so I think moving him around, spying him, blitzing him off the edge, dropping him in coverage, you don't know. So it's hard to game plan against that. And when you got a kid that's that talented and has that much closing speed, I thought that was going to be the biggest difference in this game from when, what Bryce Young has played all season long. He hasn't gone against these athletes that can close the ground like that. And I thought it really kind of shocked him in a lot of situations where he just had to throw the ball away, took some bad sacks, and really had some inaccurate throws, which you normally don't see him having. I thought, Perkins and definitely Ojulari had a big part to do with that.
Kenny is in Ohio. Kenny, welcome into the show.
What'd you say, fellas?
Hey, Kenny.
What's going on, brother?
Hey, man. So, Hanny Hill, I love y'all to death. This is kind of surreal talking to you guys. And Hanny, you were the voice of my childhood through the 90s with you and Jim Hathorn with the LSU baseball team. But tonight, I just want to talk about how well at least what I thought, how well the LSU offensive line played tonight. How do y'all weigh in on that?
Yeah, I thought they were terrific, and LSU was able to run the football for 185 yards tonight. Certainly, they got some pressure on Daniels, but that's a really, really good Alabama defensive front. Will Anderson, my God, it may very well be the number one pick in the draft. If not, he's he ain't going to last very long. Maybe a couple of quarterbacks go in front of him, but he may very well be the best player in the draft. And LSU at times was blocking him, most of the night, was blocking him with a true freshman, whether it be one side or the other. I thought they did a good job of helping on those guys. I thought that the backs, the tight ends, I thought they gave some help when they needed it. I thought the offensive line did well. They're really, really strong.
Yeah, they did. And I think anytime you got two freshmen playing at that level, you think it'd be a long, long night for them when you talk about two future defensive ends that are going to be. Dallas Turner's going to be an NFL player, and we know Will Anderson's going to be. And so I thought they did a phenomenal job, especially late in that game when those guys kind of got tired. And, JD5 puts so much pressure on once he's breaking to that second level and you're chasing him, and you got to keep lining it up and trying to get after him. I thought, the job they did to continue to battle and give him time to make throws, and obviously in the run game as well. And to me, I got to give credit to Josh Williams in the run game. That's something that, he had a great night. I wish he could have got some more touches. And They just play well, man. I think this offensive line is night and day from what we kind of saw against Florida State, which I think their defensive line is nothing what Alabama does, but just two different performances when you kind of look at how they played then and what they did tonight, being able to get the run game going, rushing for over 100 on Bama. They've done a really good job all season against the run, and then also giving JD5 time to make throws down the field. So you definitely got to tip your cap to the offensive line.
Anderson had a sack tonight, but he only had 2 tackles. So, I mean, that's as good as you can do on a player that good. Back to the phones. 499-9898 is the number of the LaBerge hotline. Robbie is in Baton Rouge. Robbie, welcome into the show.
Hey, guys. Man, what an unbelievable game. Just had a quick comment and a question.
Yeah.
Two players that aren't getting talked about enough for this game, and frankly, the season. I thought Bramblett had an unbelievable game where every yard matters. He was awesome, and I think a guy that never gets talked about that's had a sneaky, really good year and being impactful is Mekhi Wingo. I thought he had a great game tonight, and both you guys can kind of answer this. Tell me that the scheme to face Bryce Young didn't it looked identical to Johnny Manziel, the way we used to defend him. I'm going to hang up and listen and go Tigers.
I don't remember that they Perkins makes all the difference, okay? Perkins is a spot. They didn't have anybody do to Manziel what Perkins did to Young tonight. Jeremy, you were on the field, so you tell me.
No, night and day. Those game plans were very, very vanilla for what we were doing to Johnny Manziel, and I don't think he's anywhere near the quarterback that Bryce Young is. If you go out there against Bryce Young and just rush for every single play, he's going to eventually start carving you up. Matt House was sending exotic blitzes all night. He was rushing Brooks off the edge. He was rushing different, safeties and nickelbacks off the edge. And obviously there were situations where he was, had three defensive linemen just rushing him and having Perkins spy. Then he put Perkins on the edge, rush him off the edge. It was just different looks, exotic looks. When we played against Johnny Manziel 2 years in a row, rush forward, must rush him, just sit there, don't give up your pass rush lanes. He's got to start running around, and the second he does that, unleash the block and go tackle him on the ground. And so these are just totally different game plans. I think there were some plays where there was a little bit of mush rush against Bryce Young, but they were getting after him. They were trying to put as much pressure on him as humanly possible, and I think, that really affected his play, especially in that first half. I've never seen Bryce play to that level. I think he was 2 for 11, like in an interception. It was just not the Heisman winner that you would think it is, but that's because, so much heat, so much pressure getting after him. He's not the tallest quarterback, so anytime you're doing that, it's going to kind of be an issue for him.
You know what else I remember about that game against Manziel in Tiger Stadium? I remember Rashad Robinson getting a big old can of whoop ass on Mike Evans, giving up 50 pounds, and Robinson beat the crap out of him all day. A good point about Bramblett. I thought he was really important, especially in the first half. He put 3 balls inside the 20, and I think all 3 of them ended up right about the 10-yard line. So that I thought, I agree with that point. He was really good tonight, and I love Mekhi Wingo. I would love for Mason Smith to have played this year and not get hurt, but it did open up more playing time for Wingo, and that kid busts it every play, and he's maybe 6 feet tall if he stands up real straight on his tippy toes. So we're not talking about a guy that's got the physical presence that Smith did, but man, nobody plays harder than him, and he just gets after it. I love watching him play.
Yeah, I've given him a few game balls this year with just his efforts, and if someone had told me that before the season, when you're looking at Jaquelin Roy and Mason Smith, and be like, you know what, you're probably giving some game balls to Mekhi Wingo. I'd have been like, you sure about that, the Missouri kid? But he's been playing sensational. You hear that cliche saying next man up, but he's totally embodied that with his effort and his play. And you could see in that overtime, man, those guys, they weren't coming off the field. They weren't. They wanted to be out there. They continue to battle. And really, like I've seen all season, it's been very hard to just run through the teeth of the defense up the middle. And Wingo has a big part to do with that. You want some yards, maybe try the edge, but trying to run up the middle, trying to just disrespect those guys, he's played phenomenally. You got to give him, his roses, because he's done a great job filling Information Smith.
Very difficult for Young to try to climb the pocket tonight because of that interior push that those guys got. We'll take a break. 499-9898 is the number to call on the LaBerge hotline. More of your phone calls when we come back. LSU wins at 32-31 in overtime. This is Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you were born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
I am Juliette, daughter of Marguerite, granddaughter of Gabriel Piera. I come from a line of strong women who knew struggle and success too. Still, I was scared by my breast cancer diagnosis, but I had Blue Cross coverage, which meant I got care from top doctors. I'm strong like my mother and her mother before her. The right card, the right care.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
I'm Jayden Daniels. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jaydakoti.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
This summer, meet Acura's heroes of performance. Only available at the Acura Summer of Performance.
This summer, visit your local Acura dealer for attractive offers on the MDX.
98.1.
Eagle 98.1 game day continues. LSU wins it 32-31 over Alabama. Sounds really good.
That's amazing.
We should have a drop made. Wouldn't that be a good idea?
Yeah, that'd be a great idea.
Jake is in Connecticut. Jake, welcome into the show.
All right. Does this win officially put Jayden Daniels into the Heisman conversation?
Probably not. There are. So Hendon Hooker took a big hit today. Probably doesn't win it now. I think probably your favorite by himself next is C.J. Stroud.
So personally, I go to Bama, and I wouldn't put Bryce Young number 1. I have as my number 1 that quarterback from Oregon, Bo Nix. Number 2, close second, got to have Jayden Daniels. Number 3, I was in Coxville for the Bama game. Hendon Hooker has got to be number 3 on my list. I know he took a big hit today. His stock fell. He's got to be number 3.
Yeah, he's right there. Here's where it happens, okay? It happens in Ohio State, Michigan. And if Stroud does not play well in that game and Michigan wins, then I think the race is wide open. Then you can make a lot of different cases. I think if Ohio State stays undefeated, they beat Michigan, and Stroud has a good game that game, I think he probably wins it. He and Hooker were co-favorites last week. He'll probably be the favorite by himself when these odds reset on Monday. So right now, I think Stroud has got the lead.
Personally, straight up, I think Stroud is trash. He had 76 yards today. He doesn't have to carry his team. Bryce Young, Jayden Daniels, they carry their teams, but I don't think he can carry a team like any of these other quarterbacks can. So that's why C.J. Stroud just can't be number 1 for me. Bo Nix has to be number 1.
Bo Nix is on a heck of a run. Thank you for the call. 40 mile an hour winds today in Evanston for Ohio State. It was tough for both teams to throw the ball. So I'm going to give Stroud a little bit of a pass on that one. Victoria is in Franklin. Hey, Franklin. I like my Franklin people. Victoria, welcome into the show.
Hey, Charlie. It's Victoria.
Hey, how you doing?
I miss you.
Well, we appreciate you calling us. What's going on?
So I have a car full of people. Our question is, Brian Kelly beats Nick Saban's first year in SEC. How does that establish his presence in the SEC?
Right now, Brian Kelly is, one of the top half dozen coaches in the country and one of the top 2 or 3 coaches in the SEC. But he was. I would have said that even if they had lost a game tonight. Let's say they missed a 2-point conversion and they lose. Kelly's got more wins than anybody in college football right now. So his reputation was established as an outstanding coach before he got it. That's why he got the job. That's why he got the contract. What it does, though, is it accelerates everything that they are doing. Frankly, I thought that this year would be a learning experience for him and the team to kind of mesh together. It's happened a lot faster than I thought it would. You're seeing some chatter in recruiting now, just really in the last, few weeks. It's really stepped up there. And that was the one real question about him was at what kind of level was he going to be able to recruit at in the South, where he's spent very little of his career, or really none of his career. He's recruited down here a little bit, but he's never been in this part of the country. So if he does that, then forget it. I mean, there's no way that this guy is going to miss. Now, a lot of things have to fall into place for you to win a national championship. So that's not a guarantee by any stretch. But is he going to have them in a conversation every year? Yeah. As soon as he is done completely rebuilding the roster. Jeremy, how many you were on the sideline tonight?
Mm-hmm.
How many scholarship players you think they dressed tonight?
Dressed or actually out on the field?
Dressed.
I'd say maybe 70, maybe.
Yeah.
Or when you look at injuries, even less. I think Mason Smith's not dressing out in the 60s, I would say.
This is my point. There's still probably 15 to 20 scholarship players shy of the limit. Now, nobody dresses 85 scholarship guys. People get hurt and people transfer and all that stuff. So, I mean, I'm not expecting 100% attendance, but I would say that, he's a good dozen players shy of what he would like to have available to. We were talking during the break. Because Mason Smith went down, now you've got Roy and Wingo, who Todd Police from LSU Sports Information sent me a text during the break, said those two guys probably played close to 90% of the snaps tonight. And you got Jacoby and Guillory behind them, spelling them just a little bit, and that's it. If you ask Brian Kelly, how many defensive tackles would you like that you could actually play, he'd probably tell you 5, maybe even 6, and he's got half of that.
Yeah.
So he's doing this without a full arsenal of what he will eventually have. 499-9898 is the number to call on the LaBerge hotline. Maurice is in Lafayette. Maurice, welcome into the show. Maurice?
Hello.
Hey, go ahead.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey, guy.
What's up?
Hope you all having a great show.
We're having
I
a
know
wonderful
y'all
night.
are.
we're having a nice time.
Good. What a great performance on all three phases of the game. But there's something that nobody has spoken about is the conditioning on this team. No kick on Tommy Moffitt, but this team is in shape.
You're right. They have had great success in the fourth quarter in pretty much every game this year. They have looked like an exquisitely conditioned football team. Jeremy, when we were talking about the 2-point conversion, I said, listen, the defenses by the time you get into overtime are exhausted, and most of the time they're going to give up a score. Man, if they had to go another overtime or two more overtimes, I think they could have done it. I mean, they did not look like Kelly didn't decide to go for two because he didn't have enough gas left in the tank. He decided to go for two because he had a good play, he had confidence in him, and I thought it was the right time to do it. But he didn't do it because it's like, look, man, my guys are exhausted. I'm done. They can't go anymore. No, that's not why.
Yeah, and I think that's what makes it extremely impressive. It goes to the point we just made. You don't have a full 85 guys on full scholarship. So to think that you got, less players that are playing more snaps, but you're still playing well throughout these second halves of football games, I think it's extremely impressive. Everyone knows I'm always going to be a Tommy Moffitt guy. You don't win 3 national titles, just not monkeying around, not knowing what you're doing as far as that goes. But for this particular football team, I definitely think you got to give credit to Flint and the rest of that strength and conditioning staff because, this team has really played strong in the fourth quarter. I think that Auburn game for sure, when you're down 17 and you continue to battle, you only have 5 passing yards and you continue to shut those guys out and keep them out of the end zone. It's kind of been the calling card of this. And even in the games they've lost, Florida State, in the second half, they just continue to battle and get back in that football game. And that's just something you got to give Coach Kelly credit for, too, and the rest of that strength and conditioning staff.
Tyler is in Lake Charles. Tyler, welcome into the show.
I got 2 questions for y'all. First one, how much does this team in this season remind you of the 2018 team where you have a transfer quarterback coming in, kind of late, and it takes a couple games, takes a year for him to get comfortable, and obviously that led to the 2019 season.
Yeah. Okay. So it's a good question because there are some similarities. Here's the difference: the 2018 team won the opener, and it was a lot different feeling at that point. When they went and beat Miami and Dallas in 2018, the thought was, okay, you got a pretty good quarterback here. He had not become Joe Burrow as we know him later yet, but he looked pretty good. And when they beat Miami, who was supposed to be a pretty good team that year, ended up not being, but there was a real feeling of confidence. That didn't happen after the opener this year. after the opener, Jeremy, I'll be honest with you, we're packing up in New Orleans, and you and I are, getting ready to, we finished the show and we're getting ready to pack up the gear and everything. I said, this is going to take longer than I thought. They're a lot further behind than I thought because I thought that they would win that game. Well, they made up all of that ground in the last 2 months. Yeah. So that I would say is the biggest difference between 18 and now is how they got off to the start and what our perception of the team was. In 18, it was very good after the opener. This year, it was not. The 18 team got better as the season went along, and this team has been on a warp speed improvement in the month of October.
Yeah, and I think also, too, the difference between 18 and I'll take a page from Hunt Palmer's book is that team was just filled with NFL guys, and you knew those guys are going to be NFL guys. And this team, you got, a bunch of UL transfers. You got the McNeese corner starting on the outside. You got the Missouri D tackle, and it's like, okay, we're getting players, but this isn't, the cream of the crop, top of the line guys. And then you look at, the way they played in the opener. I think it's just night and day from kind of what you were feeling as a team. But I do think the potential's there, and especially with the new rules of college football and the transfer portal. You can sign as many freshmen as you want. You can go in the portal, get up to 85, whatever way you got to get there. So we can go fast forward into next year. You just, that avenue is there, especially anytime you beat Alabama in year one with a team that doesn't even have 85 full scholarship players. It definitely gives you feels that this team can definitely improve a lot more.
Think Hunt had fun at the wedding?
Maybe.
499-9898 is the number to call. We'll take a break. This is Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
When I was a boy, I spent my days climbing trees, catching fish. Barefoot in the river I walked, listening to crickets, counting stars. This was home. After my stroke, I wondered if I'd make it back to the people and places I love. But I got the right doctors with Blue Cross coverage. Your card matters. Your home does too.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
I'm Jayden Daniels. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jaydacody.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
This summer, meet Acura's heroes of performance. Only available at the Acura Summer of Performance. This summer, visit your local Acura dealer for attractive offers on the MDX.
Want more customers? Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers. Visit us online at runningboardsmarketing.com so we can drive your message to where the people are.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644.
98.1.
Eagle 98.1 Game Day continues. Tigers win it tonight over the Tide, 32-31 in overtime. 499-9898 is the number. Toby is in Walker. Toby, welcome into the show.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Hey, Toby.
So many things to talk about, but I want to get to one point, but I only want to just elaborate on the fact that LSU is definitely being put under as underdogs still, when I really think this team's come a long way. And I think even us as fans is being trying to be unbiased, when at this point we really need to start being biased, because this team's progressively getting better week by week by week. And the fact that we just beat Alabama, even though it was a close game, which rightfully so, because Alabama's maybe not be the notorious team that they've been in the past, but they're still a very hard team to beat. I mean, Tennessee, great team, barely beat them. Texas played their hearts out, lost by 1. We came in, played our hearts out, won by 1. And I think LSU's a better team than some of the top teams, easily to say right now as we speak. However, with all that said, and that's a lot to digest and talk about, I really want to talk about the last play. We need to name that play, because we've got the Bluegrass Miracle, the Earthquake play, and so many other plays. Like, that 2-point conversion deserves to have a name and be in the books of a memorable play for the ages.
Well, if you can come up with something creative. Look, all I said was, when you say the conversion, people are going to know what you're talking about. You know, you're not going to have to say which conversion. So if you're talking about the annals of LSU football, this is the biggest 2-point conversion in the history of the school, maybe. I don't know. But you know, for the moment, until we come up with something better, the conversion is all I got. Appreciate the call. You got any?
I'll think of something. The conversion is really, really good. It's going to be hard to top that. It's smooth, it's easy, it's memorable, and I think it's pretty good. It's going to be hard to top that. Give me the weekend. I'll see if I can come up with something.
All right. Joe is in White Castle. Joe, welcome into the show.
Hey, guys. We enjoy your show. Thank you so much. We're actually from Houston, and we're staying in White Castle. And so I have a question for you. I know you've been watching football and in football for all of your lives, and y'all touched on this subject a little bit. But has there ever been a team that has improved so much in such a short time? Florida State and then now. Have you ever seen that?
Okay, so there's one team that comes to mind. This was at the beginning of the Pete Carroll era at USC, when Carson Palmer was still a quarterback, and they lost their first 2 games, and then they got on a roll. And they ended up in the Orange Bowl that year, and they played a really good Iowa team, and they just beat them 10 ways to Sunday. When somebody asked me this actually earlier and said, you know, come up with a team that really improved. That one stuck out to me, because they were terrible at the beginning of September, and by the time the bowl game came around, they might have been playing better than anybody in the country, including the team that won the national championship that year. So that's the one I came up with.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one. I was going to actually go come back to that. I don't know if it was that same season, that 03 Florida team that started out pretty shaky. And I don't know how they finished that year, but, you know, where that program kind of went from that season and then kind of.
Ron Zook was the coach.
Yeah, that's probably
not as good. But, yeah, I mean, Joe, look, the amount of ground that they have made up in a 2-month period is astounding. You have an excellent coach. Yeah. You have an excellent coach. Jason is in Baton Rouge. Jason, welcome into the show.
Hey, guys. Thank you for taking my call. I number one, I want to congratulate the team and the coaches for putting together a great plan and executing and, really showing some mettle and finishing this game. But my biggest question for you is, given these inconsistencies with these reviews and just outright just trash calls that you see happening. I mean, going back to Pat Peterson, 10 years ago, is it time for the NCAA to kind of step in and take over?
No. You think it's bad now? Let the NCAA take over it. No.
Well, I mean, I would like to see non-biased. I'd like to see almost like the NFL does, where they have like people that are doing nothing but that's all they do. It's not somebody from the conference. It's not somebody. You got New York, you got LA, or however you want to do it. and the review calls go to just the review people. So there's an absence of impropriety because it's just happened too many times. I mean, where you see there's just blatant calls where, you know, people like, am I sniffing glue? Did I not see what you just saw? You know, I mean, that one play where there's they give him the first down spot. It's like a 2-yard difference. You're like, come on, guys. I mean, this is not like it's not. It's one thing when it's like close, but or when his knee's down twice, it hits the ground, it hits the ground again, and they're giving him the let him keep running, and they're trying to give him 5 more yards. At some point, it becomes like.
Jason, there's nobody that has complained more about slanted officiating over the years when it comes to Alabama than me. But in this, they called 92 yards worth of penalties on Alabama. They missed the pass interference. They missed the tip. They actually got the one on the fumble right. Okay, it's a terrible rule. You don't like the rule, but the officials applied it correctly. I'm not for adding any more people into the process, and I'm certainly not for the NCAA coming in. I mean, this would be like having an orangutan try to fix your car. Okay, no, I'm sorry, not a fan of that one. But hey, listen, there's just plenty of nights where we've had to go, good gracious, it just got screwed again. This ain't it ain't one of them. Jules is in Abbeville. Jules, welcome into the show.
Great win tonight, fellas. To the previous caller, if you think the NFL is so good at that, talk to some Saints fans. I think you'll get a different opinion as far as the NFL review policy goes.
I think you're right.
Charles, I know you're LSU all the way, but if you were going to have to send somebody to Angola for 10 years, on that tipped ball, you willing to say that ball was definitely tipped beyond a reasonable doubt?
I saw the still shot has the guy's finger on the ball, unless the angle has just got my eyes playing tricks on me. The argument against is that the ball's trajectory does not change, okay? But he doesn't have to get much of it. I mean, if it's so much as touches his fingernail, okay, it's supposed to be, it's a tip ball. So the still shot I saw appeared to me that the ball was touched. Yes.
That was a side view or a head-on view?
It was sort of at an angle. You watched the game, I'm sure. I saw the same thing you saw. Now you got me to where I'm definitely going to go home and watch it again. I'm going to go and freeze this thing. But yeah, the one I saw looked like he got a finger on it. Yeah.
Well,
and I don't want to go to Angola.
It may have looked like it on the tape, but like I said, I don't think it was enough to overturn the call either way. Had it been called a tip during the play, and Alabama said, we want to review it, I think it would have been confirmed, or
Well, the officials agree with you.
Stands as it is. As far as the 2-point plays, is my final point, I guess. I know against Florida State, I called up and said I thought they should go, and you said no, and that didn't turn out so well. But tonight, I didn't think they should go, and you think that they should. My thing is, if they had this play that they felt so comfortable with on 2-pointers, and I'm sure they came up with this play back in camp, then they should have gone for it against Florida State. Not that it would make a whole lot of difference as far as playoffs go, because I don't think if LSU plays Georgia that things are going to turn out that great based on what Georgia did today. But anyway, it was a great win by the Tigers, one I certainly didn't expect. And you know me, I go back to the early to mid-'60s watching LSU football. I was at the Jones to Davis game. So,
Thank you, Jules. I appreciate it. Let me say this about what I said after the Florida State game. I've changed my mind a little bit, and not because this one worked and that one didn't, but because I've seen the overtime rule change come into effect a number of times here, and I'll be honest with you, Jeremy. That was the last thing on my mind when we were doing postgame after the Florida State game is the rule change. But the rule change of the overtimes is significant because it increases the probability, I don't know, tenfold that the game is going to come down to a 2-point conversion at some point in the overtime. And I wasn't thinking that night about that rule change, but once you get to a college overtime, most of the time the defenses are exhausted, and scoring from the 25-yard line, it's not a foregone conclusion. Miami and Virginia were so bad last week that they went 4 overtimes and didn't score a touchdown, but that's the exception. More often than not, the touchdowns are scored in the first 2 overtimes, and starting with the second one, you have to go for 2. So if you're Brian Kelly, and I'm sure he's thought all of this through long before it actually comes up in the game where he's got to think of it on the spot. He knows that. Jeremy, what would you say when the overtime started that this game would come down to a 2-point conversion? What was the percentage? 80%?
Yeah, it's pretty much
something.
There.
Whether it was the second overtime or the third overtime back, it's probably going to come down to this. And we talked about this. We were doing postgame when Utah and USC a few weeks ago. Mm-hmm. It came down to it, and Kyle Whittingham for Utah went for 2. And his reason was we had a play we felt good about. We're going to try to win it right here, because if we get into an overtime, it's going to get into a 2-point shootout more than likely. That game ended up 43-42, I think it was. This one, 32-31. So you've got these defenses that have been running for 4 hours. So if you're going to have it come down to a 2-point conversion, then have it where your opponent can't answer. Mm-hmm. Because if you get into a 2-point, like I said, a shootout, once you get to the third overtime, then it's like you got to, not only do you have to score the 2-point conversion, but you're going to have to stop them at some point. Here, you got to make the 2-point conversion. You don't have to stop them. Yeah. The game is over. It's not without risk. You miss, you lose. But I've changed my thinking now that I've watched the overtime rule play out, and I think it's the right call. And I said that for the USC game. I said, you know what, I would have said that it was the right call to go for it based on Whittingham's explanation, based on Kelly's explanation tonight. I feel differently about it. If they were under the old rules, probably not. And I wasn't thinking about that night against Florida State.
No, I don't think so. But I think also, too, in that Florida State game, your defense was just playing lights out in the second half. You muff a punt. They got the ball inside the 10. They don't score a touchdown. Your offense is going up and down the field. I thought you totally seized momentum there, and you kind of didn't want to give them that win if you try to go for 2 there and get it with all the work you did to get back in the game. And really, you having all that momentum, you want to force that offense that was playing bad in the second half to try to score a touchdown in overtime. And with your offense playing as well as it was, you felt like great with a short field that you can score a touchdown again. And so I thought those were just totally 2 different situations. I agree with you here in this game. The defenses did get tired. They're playing their lights out. They're playing their hearts out and really put everything on the field in that first half, and then just being out there drive after drive after drive. It's just really, really hard to stop these spread offenses, what they're doing nowadays. So, the more and more I think about it during the field, I'm like, okay, if we lose this game, not converting a 2-point conversion, like, I'm going to be sick to my stomach.
Yeah, but it would have been, absolutely gut-wrenching.
Yeah, but I think the more and more I think about it, you got to give Coach Kelly credit for having the cojones to go out there and make that call and, put his team in a position to take down Alabama and still control your destiny. But 2 different situations. But, I think in both situations, I kind of got to, hindsight's 20/20, but I kind of agree with them kicking it against Florida State and going for it here.
Take a break. This is Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
Spencer Callahan is the one to see. Call 387-2323. LA 21-12681. Offices in Baton Rouge.
Eagle 98.1 WDGL and HC1 Baton Rouge.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact Service Master Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Master Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you were born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
I'm Jayden Daniels. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jaydacody.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
Enter now for a chance to win a catch and cook fishing experience from the Louisiana Charter Boat Association with me, Chef Jayden Daniels, winner of Beat Bobby Flay. Register now at gocatch.com. That's GEAUX catch.com.
Eagle 98.1. Eagle 98.1 Game Day. Stat Check. Presented by Luba. Luba, genuine dependability.
All right, let's look at the yardstick. First downs, Alabama 25, LSU 22. Total yards, 465 for the Tide, 367 for the Tigers. Passing, LSU 22 of 32 for 182 yards. Alabama 25 of 51, 328 yards. Rushing, LSU 34 carries tonight, 185 yards, 5.4 yards per carry. 30 for 137 for Alabama. Penalties tonight, LSU 7 for 64, Alabama 9 for 92. Alabama, one turnover was the only turnover in the game, was on the opening possession, the interception by Converse in the end zone. Time of possession, 32 minutes for LSU and 28 minutes for Alabama. Individually, Jayden Daniels, 22 of 32, 182 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Bryce Young, 25 of 51, 328 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. Daniels rushed 18 times for 95 yards and a touchdown. Josh Williams, 7 carries, 54 yards and a touchdown. John Emery, a couple of nice plays. The screen, obviously, or a little quick check down that he scored, but also had 5 carries for 26 yards tonight. Jamar Gibbs, 15 carries for 99 yards for Alabama. And Jace McClellan, 4 carries for 17 yards. Receiving, Keyshawn Boutte, 7 catches for 51 yards. Malik Neighbors, 6 catches for 49 yards. Mason Taylor, 3 for 36 yards and a touchdown. And, of course, the game-winning 2-point conversion. And Emory had 2 catches tonight for 34 yards. Ja'Cory Brooks, 7 catches for 97 yards and a touchdown for Alabama. Defensively, LSU led by B.J. Ojulari. He had 11 tackles tonight, including a sack and a tackle and a half for loss. He had 2 quarterback hurries. Harold Perkins, 8 tackles tonight, 1 sack, 1 tackle for loss, 1 pass defense, 3 quarterback hurries, and a permanent residence in probably Bryce Young's nightmares tonight. DeMarco Helms, 12 tackles for Alabama tonight. Brian Branch had 9, including a pass defense and a quarterback hurry. And I do want to mention the punters, because Bramblett, one of the callers, said, had a really good game. 6 punts for a 41.8-yard average, but 3 of them inside the 20-yard line, and that 55-yard punt that flipped the field was a very big kick. James Burnap, 49.8-yard average on 4 punts, but none of those got inside the 20. And that is your stat check. Come back with our final scoreboard of the night when we return. This is Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
Want more customers? Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers. Visit us online at runningboardsmarketing.com so we can drive your message to where the people are.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Light beer shouldn't taste like water. Miller Lite has more taste and only 96 calories. It's Miller time.
I am Juliette, daughter of Marguerite, granddaughter of Gabriel Piera. I come from a line of strong women, women who knew struggle and success too. Still, I was scared by my breast cancer diagnosis, but I had Blue Cross coverage, which meant I got care from top doctors. I'm strong like my mother and her mother before her. The right card, the right care.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
It's no secret, the best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices
98.1. The Robinson Brothers Ford Lincoln College Football Scoreboard. Robinson Brothers Ford Lincoln, on air line under the giant American flag.
Our last game of the night is just gone final. Number 12 UCLA beats Arizona State 50-36. Earlier today, number 3 Georgia beat number 1 Tennessee 27-13. Stetson Bennett threw a couple of touchdown passes, and really this game was not even as close as this score would indicate. Georgia led it 24-6 at the half. They had Tennessee's number all day. Real conservative game plan, I thought, for Tennessee. Did not attack down the field in the first half. Number 2 Ohio State beat Northwestern 21-7. Not a lot of passing yards in this one. They had gusts up to 40 miles an hour in the stadium. With some bad weather in the Midwest. So it was a struggle for Ohio State, but they get home. Notre Dame pounded number 4 Clemson 35-14, and this one wasn't as close. The points that Clemson scored were long after the issue had been decided. DJU, tough day for him today. 191 yards. He threw an interception, and Clemson just could never really get much of anything going. Number 5, Michigan pulled away from Rutgers. This was a 17-14 Rutgers lead at the half, but Michigan pulled away in the second half, scored 38 unanswered to win it 52-17. Number 7, TCU. Probably nobody had as much benefit as far as the playoff poll than the Horned Frogs today. They beat Texas Tech 34-24. Max Dugan threw a couple of touchdown passes for TCU. Number 8, Oregon beat Colorado 49-10. Bo Nix, 274 yards through the air, 2 touchdowns. He also ran a touchdown in and caught a touchdown pass. Number 9, USC held on to beat Cal 41-35. It was number 24 Texas beating number 13 Kansas State 34-27. Adrian Martinez returned for Kansas State in this game, but it was in a losing effort. Number 14 Utah beat Arizona 45-20. Number 15 Penn State beat Indiana 45-14. Number Michigan State upset number 16 Illinois 23-15. Number 17 North Carolina beat Virginia 31-28. Kansas beat number 18 Oklahoma State 37-16. Spencer Sanders, starting quarterback for Oklahoma State, did not play in this game. His replacement, Garrett Rangel, threw 3 interceptions. Number 19 Tulane beat Tulsa 27-13. Looks like game day is headed to New Orleans next week. First time, right? First time they've ever been there for Tulane. The only other year would have been 98, and I don't think they went in 98. Pitt beat number 20 Syracuse 19-9. Syracuse now has lost 3 straight after winning their first 6. Number 22 NC State beat number 21 Wake Forest 32-21. It was number 25 UCF beating Memphis 35-26. Air Force over Army 13-7. Kentucky survived Missouri 21-17. I think I said earlier they were off. This because I forgot all about this game. Will Levis threw 3 touchdown passes. Florida beat a short-handed Texas A&M team 41-24. A&M had about a dozen guys that missed today's game with the flu. Minnesota beat Nebraska 20-13. It was Iowa over Purdue 24-3. Wisconsin beat Maryland 23-10. Western Kentucky over Charlotte 59-7. Georgia Tech edged Virginia Tech 28-27. Temple over South Florida 54-28. Marshall shut out Old Dominion 12-0. Baylor beat Oklahoma 38-35. Oklahoma now 5-4 on the season and 2-4 in the Big Ten. Georgia State beat Southern Miss 42-14. It was Louisiana Tech over Middle Tennessee 40-24. Washington State beat Stanford 52-14. Iowa State over West Virginia 31-14. Utah State beat New Mexico 27-10. UTSA over UAB 44-38. That was in 2 overtimes. Liberty upset Arkansas 21-19. LSU's next opponent, the Arkansas Razorbacks, will be coming off the loss. Hugh Freeze, available coach for hire. He is 8-1 now. Cincinnati beat Navy 20-10. It was South Alabama over Georgia Southern 38-31. North Texas beat Florida International 52-14. It was Troy over UL Lafayette 23-17. UL Monroe beat Texas State 31-30. BYU over Boise State 31-28. San Diego State over UNLV 14-10. It was SMU over Houston. You ready for this score? 77-63.
Oh my goodness.
Hit all their free throws, apparently.
That's what basketball.
Mississippi State beat Auburn 39-33 in overtime. Will Rogers threw for 357 yards and 3 touchdowns. First game for Auburn since they fired Brian Harsin. Cadillac Williams is the interim coach there. South Carolina beat Vandy 38-27. Louisville over James Madison 34-10. Florida State pounded Miami 45-3. Jordan Travis, 3 touchdown passes for the Noles. San Diego State beat Colorado State 28-16, and Fresno State beat Hawaii 55-13. And the Houston Astros won the World Series tonight. They beat Philadelphia. I believe that final was 4-1. And Pelicans lost tonight to the Hawks. Yeah, I know you're really upset about that. That is your college football scoreboard. 124-121 in overtime. They lost to the Hawks. And that's your college football scoreboard plus a little bit of bonus. And we've got Game Balls. That's next. Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
When I was a boy, I spent my days climbing trees, catching fish. Barefoot in the river I walked, listening to crickets, counting stars. This was home. After my stroke, I wondered if I'd make it back to the people and places I love. But I got the right doctors with Blue Cross coverage. Your card matters. Your home does too.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you were born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
I'm Jayden Daniels. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jaydakoti.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
This summer, meet Acura's heroes of performance. Only available at the Acura Summer of Performance.
This summer, visit your local Acura dealer for attractive offers on
Eagle 98.1. Eagle 98.1 Game Day. Game Balls. Game Balls. Game Balls. Presented by WCK Foundation Repair. Support your home team. WCK Foundation Repair.
You got choices.
You got plenty of choices in this one. Yeah, game ball, I got to give one to B.J. Ojulari. I thought his veteran leadership on this football team, you see why he got 18 in a game like this, a big-time game against Alabama. You know what quarterback they have. I thought he got after him all night, put pressure on him, 11 tackles in tonight's game, got some pressures on him. And to me, he lived in that Alabama backfield all night. And for the first time in post-game history, I'm actually going to give a game ball to a guy on the other team. I'm going with Eli Ricks for his massive performance. 1 tackle, no pass breakups, no interceptions.
Just a little sarcasm.
Just giving the hope and the dreams to this LSU fan base. No, I'm kidding. I'm going to actually go with Jay Bramlett. I thought early in that game when you really kind of sowed those signs early in the season where you can't score touchdowns early, you really can't, score the points that you want to have, and you kind of say, oh, this feels like Florida State, this feels like Auburn, but pinning them back time and time again and letting this fan base get into the game and really kind of rattle that Alabama offense. I thought Jay really punted the ball well to keep you in this game and make Bama drive long fields, and it sets you up to kind of finish this game down the stretch. So I'll go with B.J. Ojulari, and I'm going to go with Jay Bramlett.
Okay, I got 6.
Okay, all right, there you go.
I'm giving 2 to Harold Perkins. I'm giving 1 to Harold Perkins, the spy, and 1 to Harold Perkins, the rusher. Okay, so Perkins gets 2. Jayden Daniels for that performance on the ground, through the air, clutch throws when they had to have them. Jayden Daniels. Josh Williams running hard. He made 2 huge plays in this game besides the touchdown. One of them was the 3rd and 7. We probably haven't made a big enough deal about that. I mean, if they don't convert there, it's a what are you doing running right up the middle on 3rd down and 7? Well, because Williams willed himself in the 1st and goal. So that plus the block he threw on Daniels' run for the touchdown in the overtime was fantastic. So Josh Williams gets 1. Mason Taylor gets 1. 2 massive catches, 2 historical catches, if you will. So Malik Neighbors gets 1. Josh Williams, Jayden Daniels, Harold Perkins gets 2. And the other one, what did I say? It's 6. Who am I leaving out? There was one more.
Ringo, maybe.
Trying to think. Maybe I just. Converse, Bernard Converse.
Yeah, interception.
The interception at the beginning, real tone setter. Game feels a lot different if Alabama marches right down and gets a touchdown on the opening play, the opening drive. And he had another big pass breakup on an important 3rd down. I think it was a 3rd down later in the game. So I thought Bernard Converse played really well. So those are my 6. Because when LSU beats Alabama, I just suspend all the rules. Heck with it. All right, back to wrap it up. And, hey, you got an extra hour tonight in 25 minutes. Move the clock back. This is Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast office products.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
I'm Jayden Daniels. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jaydacody.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
Eagle 98.1.
Eagle 98.1 game day wrapping up. It was a fun day, y'all. So let me tell you how this works. Next week, LSU plays Arkansas at 11 o'clock in the morning. Alabama plays Ole Miss at 2. LSU wins. Alabama beats Ole Miss. LSU's clinched SEC championship game berth. There's other scenarios that there's other ways that they could do it, but that's the simplest one. Go to Arkansas, win, have Alabama go to Oxford and beat Ole Miss, and that's it. You'll have your ticket punched. You'll have your ticket punched to Atlanta 2 weeks before Thanksgiving. And who would have thunk it?
Yeah, a lot of people were hammering that under for the win total this year. I don't know if that looks so good. I bet the overbettors are jumping for joy right now.
It went over for most people. It went over. It went over tonight. So it's gonna be a lot of fun. Never would have figured that LSU would be in that position, but here they are. So this week will be about prep for Arkansas, and the Hogs will be coming off a loss to Liberty. So It's 11 o'clock game. You got to be careful to let down, but take a little time and enjoy this one. This was a lot of fun. Next week we'll be on 7 a.m. for pregame. We will be at Rouse's, and we'll have an extended postgame where basically we're going to be able to kind of companion show the Ole Miss Alabama game next week, Jeremy. And I have to root for Alabama next week. But hey, look, be a big Bryce Young fan next week for probably for the first time. So enjoy this one, guys. This is one of those historic wins, one you'll remember forever, and the 2-point conversion that sealed the deal. Final score once again: LSU wins it in overtime, 32-31. From all of us here at the flagship, I'm Charles Hanagriff saying thank you and good evening. It's been Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
LSU Football Today has been brought to you by BetRivers.net, the free-to-play site where you can sample casino games and sports bet for free. Don't miss all the purple and gold action all season long right here on Eagle 98.1, presented by BetRivers.net.